The 10th Canadian federal elections were held, or federal parliamentary elections were held on November the 3rd, 1904. This time the Conservatives had a new leader, Robert Borden, who still wasn't popular enough to the Canadian male electorate to unseat the Liberal Prime Minister Wilfrid Laurier. This time 214 parliamentarians were elected to the House of Commons. The Liberals slightly raised their share of the popular vote to 50.9%, or 521,000 votes, and their seat total went up to 137. The Conservatives suffered a tiny decline of the popular vote to share to 45.9%, or 470,000, and 75 parliamentarians were elected. However, Robert Borden himself was defeated in his electoral district of Halifax. The voter turnout fell to 71.6%. During the next parliamentary term, Alberta and Saskatchewan would become provinces, and one of the future Canadian Prime Ministers, George Diefenbaker, had settled with his family in what would become Saskatchewan in 1903 as a boy of 7 or 8 years. Of the Conservative members of the House of Commons, 5 still identified as Liberal Conservatives. 1 independent candidate was elected. A total of 6 ran, receiving about 10,000 votes, or 1% of the total. 1 independent Conservative was elected out of 2 such candidates, who received a total of 5,000 votes, or 0.5%. 13 candidates with unknown political affiliations, receiving a total of about 12,000 votes, or 1.1%, were candidates. None of them were elected. 2 Laborites ran. Neither one of them was elected. A total of about 2,200 Canadian men, or 0.2%, voted for them. 3 socialist candidates ran. None of them were elected. A total of about 1,800 Canadian men, or 0.2%, voted for them. 1 nationalist candidate ran, but wasn't elected. About 1,400 Canadian men, or 0.1%, voted for him. 3 independent Liberals ran. None of them were elected. A total of only about 300 Canadian men, or 0% of the total, voted for them. This was the first Canadian federal parliamentary elections, or these were the first Canadian federal parliamentary elections where the total number of votes was over 1 million, about 1,024,000.